Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar hosted by AKL Academy and sponsored by AKL Pediatric Therapy. I'm Daniela, and I'm thrilled to be hosting this session. Today's topic is: Are you struggling to get your child with autism into a routine? This month is Autism Awareness Month, so we have organized a special edition of AKL Academy, and instead of one session, we will have two. Today is the first one. The next one will take place on April 17th, and we hope you can join us too. Ana Pedraza is with us today. She's an occupational therapist with extensive clinical experience working with patients with autism, and today she has for us important tips that will provide you with essential tools and strategies to make daily routines easier to perform every day. Hi, Anna, how are you?
Hello, Daniela. Thank you very much. I'm very good. Thank you.
Welcome again, and this webinar is completely yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Daniela. Okay, as you mentioned, today we're going to talk about daily routines, how our children with autism struggles with this type of activities, and how can we help them to establish daily routines and, of course, um, work on visual schedules with them. Um, to start, it is very important that, can you move to the next one, please? Okay, so daily routines. When we talk about daily routines, we in the therapeutic world, we talk about ADLs, which is the activities of daily living. So when we talk about routines and daily routines are all the activities oriented toward taking care of your own body like feeding, eating, functional mobility, toileting, shower, bathing, personal hygiene, dressing. So all of these activities are the ones that we can perform for ourselves, and in which ones we work to our children to become independent and they don't need too much help by the time they grow up. Next one, please. So daily routines for kids. Um, what are some of the main daily routines or the activities of daily living that your child completes or that you as parent want them to complete? So the first one will be using the bathroom. The other one will be getting dressed or undressed. Next one will be brushing teeth, brushing, combining hair, bathing, showering, personal hygiene, like wiping up after using the bathroom, washing hands, washing face, sitting down for a meal, and of course, eating by themselves. And the other one will be safely moving through the environment. So these ones are the main daily activities for our kids. And of course, the ones in we want to work of them to be more independent. Next one, please. Okay, so how to set a daily routine? The first thing to do is to analyze your days and weeks. Write down each one of your family main time commitments in chronological order and look for any problem spots, like, for example, maybe at mealtime or maybe at bedtime or shower time. So write down all of those specific activities that your child is struggling with. It is also important to think about areas of the day when your child needs more help and needs more support from you. Think about what you want as a parent, as a family. What are the routines that you want them to complete and you want them to be able to perform? Of course, it is very important that you establish the important times such as meal times, snacks times, for naps and bedtime, mm, for hygiene and things like that. Next one, please. Okay, before moving about setting a routine, it is very important that we understand each one of these activities and how our child needs to mature and work in different type of skills to set these activities and to be able to perform them. So one thing that all of these routines had about is that require a variety of skills and as well a lot of step-by-step process. So the first one, talking about using a bathroom, our child needs a lot of information, sensory information. The first one will be the interoception, which is information of our internal signals, like telling our brain when it's time to go to the bathroom, when you feel that you need to go to the bathroom as well. Then will be like clothing management, like handling buttons, zippers, how they pull up pants or take clothes off, a lot of sensory processing. You know, in the bathroom, there are a lot of smells, sounds when they flush the toilet, a lot of sight, like how the bathroom looks like. And there is a lot of proprioception and vestibular information going on to maintain the balance and body awareness about what is around their body. Of course, another step will be the hygiene, which means wiping hands, wiping and washing hands, requiring fine motor skills, sequencing. So if you see, there is a lot of steps and a lot of skills going on around this activity. Next one, please. Okay, now for getting dressed and undressed. Of course, this is a very difficult skill to manage because our child needs a lot of body coordination, a lot of body awareness. They need to work on balance and spatial understanding of their surrounding. They need to understand the right and left side of their body, coordinate arms and legs together. Some of our children struggle with the textures of the clothes. Some of them, they don't tolerate like the tags of the teacher, or they don't like any specific type of texture of their socks or their shoes. So there is a lot of tactile information going on in this activity. Of course, fine motor skills for handling clothes, the strength they have to use when they put on clothes or take off clothes as well. And for all of these activities, there is a lot of sequencing and attention to maintain and keep the process. Next one will be brushing teeth. So if we talk about brushing teeth, this is another complex activity with a lot of sensory processing and coordination. Children need to use a lot of tactile information, and not only with their hands, also with their mouth. So they have a lot of feelings about the tactile system, olfactory system, gustatory, the auditory. For example, if they use a regular brush, there is a different type of sound. If they use an electric toothbrush, there is another sound. So they need to manage a lot of sensory information around this activity. They need to grasp, squeeze, and control the force accurately with the handling saliva and making bubbles and handling the toothpaste. So this is another really complex activity. Next one, please. Okay, brushing, combining hair. This is another activity for our children that they need a lot of body awareness. Of course, some of them don't brush their hair, but for the ones that need to brush their hair, there is a lot of components going on around. Like, for example, knowing where their hair is, especially the back, where they can see what is going on, or what is behind them. A lot of fine motor control to manage the brush, There is tactile and proprioceptive processing, of course. So if you think about, there is a lot of children struggling with brushing hair, or some of them don't tolerate like going to cut their hair. So this is because there is a lot of sensory information going on their body and their mind that they can control at that time. So we need to work on that. And of course, for our child, they need to sustain a lot of attention. They need, if they need to put a ponytail or use braids or any different things, this requires a lot of additional tactile and proprioceptive processing and sustained attention as well. Okay, another of our daily activities is bathing and showering. So for this one, we need a lot of sensory modulation and tolerance. In this one, it comes a lot of the sensation of the temperature, the water, the soap, and different type of textures. Some children struggles with the feeling of the temperature, so we have to make sure that it's safe for them as well. And they need to work a lot of body awareness, spatial orientation, how to get in and out the tub. The balance is very crucial in this activity for safety. A lot of smell going on around with the soap, hearing the sound of the water and how they look around, transitioning to and from the top. Of course, understanding and managing clothes afterwards. It's another skill that is combined with this one. Okay, and the other activity of our daily routines is the personal hygiene. So personal hygiene refers to anything related to cleaning your body. This includes wiping after using the bathroom, or washing hands, or washing your face, using a tissue to blow your nose. Many of these are involved in all other daily tasks as well. So for all of these daily activities and daily routines, we need a lot of skills. The most important ones are the interoception, as we mentioned before, like all the information from our internal organs to our brain and our body, a lot of tactile processing, a lot of auditory and visual processing, bilateral coordination and integration, fine motor skills, and sequencing and attention. Another of our daily routines are sitting down for a meal. Or besides that is also eating a meal. So our child needs to work a lot on regulating emotions and energy levels to focus on eating, including recognizing hunger, how they feel hunger or they feel thirsty. Of course, maintaining posture. There is a lot of vestibular and proprioceptive sensation going on to maintaining posture and balance, and sit upright at the table using motor skills for utensils, a lot of bilateral coordination, using the strength to maintain the spoon in their hand and taking the food into their mouth and taking the cup and maybe drinking water. So there is a lot of different components and bilateral coordination and integration to work on this activity as well. Besides that, all the sensory experience with the food, like tasting, smelling, sight, touch, managing food in the mouth safely. And all of these activities, of course, sustain attention needed all the time. And the other one will be safely moving through the environment. This means like moving in the environment could be like walking, running, riding a bike or a tricycle. This needs a lot of sensory processing, including visual navigation, auditory processing, balance, body awareness, and of course, decision-making skills, because this activity comes around with a lot of safety. Our child needs to know when it's safe to move around. They need to be aware of what is around. If they are able to cross the street, if the light is red or the light is green, they need to understand everything about moving around in the environment by themselves. Next one, please. Okay, so now that we know the main daily routines or the main daily activities that our child needs to work to, the next step is to create a schedule, right? So there are many different types of schedules that we have to figure out what works better for our child. If works for them better, like working in morning routine and evening routine, or if maybe works for them working in daily routine, all the activities that they have to do during the day, or if, for example, they are struggling with a specific activity, like, for example, we talk about bathroom. So we need a visual schedule that help them to understand each one of the steps to make that activity. So this one is an example of, for example, morning routine and evening routine. So what our child needs to do or needs to perform before going to school or after they get back from school. So that will be an example. Why visual? Because visual is our main systems, how we learn, right? So most of the people learn by visual. Other ones need like hearing. So if we have a visual cue, will help us understand and follow the steps easier. And if, of course, they are strong with hearing, well, we can just repeat the instructions. And if a child learns better, like by the kinesthetic system, we just help them hand over hand, follow the steps, and that will help them understand and learn better this type of schedules that we want to work with them. So visual schedules are different type of options. You can find many as to one. It depends what works for your child. It works a checklist, work in a checklist. It works like in activities, as I mentioned, like morning activities, evening activities, or all the daily activities during the day. Why visual schedules? Because visual schedules help us to provide expectations, right? So our child knows what is going to happen, what is going next. They can understand what is the step by step. You know, our children struggle with different type of activities or changing activities. So if they know what is going to happen, it will be easier for them to understand and make it happen. Also, visual schedules help us to organize daily events. So if today we have a change in our routine, like, I don't know, going to a doctor appointment or visit a friend or any other different activities, it'll help them to organize daily events and understand what is going to happen. Of course, this will help us to reduce meltdowns, tantrums, and another type of behaviors that come with changing a routine that sometimes is hard to manage as a parent or as a teacher or in any other situation. Visual schedules also help us promote independence, because as we mentioned before, all of these activities that we have just mentioned, those are activities that we work with our child to be independent. We want them to be independent, sitting at the table, eating, brushing their teeth, putting out their clothes and going to bed. So this help us that in the routines of making them more independent. Also help us to provide predictability, as we mentioned. If they know what is going to happen, it will be easier for them to manage and to understand everything. Ensure structure. If you see all of these activities help us with step by step and the structure in what is going to happen and in the time, the specific time for each one of the activity as well. Of course, in this part, it is very important that the routines for each family is different. So that's why we mentioned the first step will be like write down all the important things for your family, what you want them to do, and then you just ensure that it's structured. And of course, prepare for new and unexpected situation, as such as going to the doctor, visit someone, or for example, in special holidays, such as Christmas or maybe Halloween. So activities like that will be easier if we have them in a visual schedule for them. Next one. So for example, this is another type of visual schedule that show us a specific activity. This is not an activity for the day or for the morning or evening. It's just for something that our child is struggling with. So if they're struggling with the bathroom, we can set a specific visual schedule for that activity and set it in the bathroom in a place where they can see it and they can follow each one of the steps. This is an example, but doesn't mean that it works for all the child. So you can just set the pictures or make the pictures of your own child and make it in the order that you want them to happen. So this is another idea that we can work. Next one. Okay, this is another just very general of specific activities that we're going to do during the day. If you can set like a specific time, like at this time or something like that. If you want to add a timer or something like that, will help you. But this is another example, like for activities, just a general ones. Next one. Okay, this is another one, like for showing them what type of activities we want to perform. For example, this one, like the one on your right side, is we can set, we have different type of examples, for example, and we can set like the 5 things we're going to do. And on the other side, there is like a check mark. So something that we can create or make it more fun for them is like that they do a check mark, or they have a Velcro card or something that put on the top, like you just done that activity. This one about sensory, I like it to suggest it, for example, in therapy time, because sometimes for them it's difficult to understand what activities we are going to do in therapy. So if we show them, okay, we're going to do these 4 activities, like we're going to do a massage and maybe exercise of movement or sensory time or visual activities. So it's easier for them to understand our session and to know how to move through the time during therapy or doing class or in any other specific time or activity that we want them to understand better. Next one, please. Okay, this is another example. For other children, works like to do and done. So these are the activities we have to do, and when we just have done, we just move them to the other side. That's one example that works a lot. The other one is like first and then. So for example, first I need to put my shoes on, then I go to the park. So they can understand that first I need to do something and then I can do another thing. Yeah, and for example, the other one, like my day, how my day will look like, and of course, what I have to do first, and then when I just have done the activity. Okay, the most important thing about all of this topic is practice and patient and be consistent with that. Okay, because this is something that if we do it one time, but we don't practice every day and we don't teach them how to do it, well, this is not going to work. So many studies said that we need to practice for at least 21 days, one activity or any activity to become a routine. So please, we need to practice and be consistent with all of these activities or all of these tools that we want to work with our children to make it happen. If we are consistent with this will work and this will help us. Of course, we have to take the one that works better for us. As I mentioned, there are many examples, many different type of schedules that we can work with our children. But the most important is to be patient and practice. Okay, of course, that is very important that we we are flexible as well. If this doesn't work, we can modify or we can change it or we can do something else that works better for us. We have to be flexible if that doesn't work and adjust as needed. Of course, when you establish the routine or the daily schedule, try to set some specific and special time with your child, like, I don't know, playing with them or reading a story or I don't know, making food together or something like that. Establish any specific times and that will be meaningful for them. Next one. Okay, well, this was the topic for today, the information that we want to share. We really hope that will be useful. And of course, if you have any questions, if you need more help, like, hey, I want to do this, how can I do it? Well, just write to us. We can help you set up daily routine. We can share with you some pictures or as I mentioned, if you want to take the pictures of your own child doing and performing the activity, will be much better. That will help them the most. We're going to share some information in a PDF as well. I think that in an email that will give you some examples of activities to work with your children. And of course, remember that okay, I'm going to write my email. So anything you can just write direct to me, okay? My email is clinical support at AKL therapy.
And also remember that you register and we have your email, so we will be sharing some printable schedule, right, Anna?
Yes,
So you
yes.
can use them.
Okay. And remember that you can find us in the social media like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all of these webinar information is saved in YouTube, so you can review it anytime and share it with someone you feel that will be helpful for them as well. And of course, if you found value in this information, we would love to hear about your experience with AKL therapy and take a minute to leave us a review on Google. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time and joining us today.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you, everyone. As we told you, this month is Autism Awareness. So For this month, we will be having two sessions of AKL Academy, and the next one will be taking place on April 17th. Is a Wednesday too at 3:30 p.m. We'll be talking a little bit more about screens and the use of them with our kids. So it will be really interested, and we hope you can join us. See you on the next Wednesday, and thank you, Anna. Have a good day. Bye.
You, bye bye.